the last 8 seconds in Mustafa'S file before the dash camera cuts off. When you open evidence.com, you have a dash camera that starts off from 1 o'clock all the way to before the accident. I mean, where is the rest of the dash camera? In what world does a dash camera just cuts off? Now, specifically, this dash camera records in 1 minute increments, and that's how it's saved in evidence.com. Now, specifically, when you look at the last 8 seconds, this is, let me pull up the dash camera. And Mohammed, if you want to do me a favor, if you want to go over to exhibits. There we go. Now, you heard Robert Drum talk about Mustafa'S facial expression. And he says specifically, Mustafa'S tongue is sticking inside his cheek. Okay? And he's specifically talking about Mustafa'S facial expression. Now, isn't it suspicious that when you watch this dash camera, the prosecutor inside the court is focusing on Mustafa'S facial expression? Julie Carey with NBC4 is talking about Mustafa'S facial expression. The investigator is talking about Mustafa'S facial expression. And his own dash camera, there are 17 frames missing from Mustafa'S facial expression. And you want to tell me that this police department did not cut this dash camera? What am I talking about? In Mustafa'S file, in evidence.com, the dash camera is recorded in 1 minute increments. And then you get to a file where it has 8.3 seconds. The camera facing outward, the camera sees the outside, and this dash camera has a lens where it shows you the inside. Now, when you measure the frames, the camera on the inside cuts off at 8.3, 8.0, but the camera facing outward continue rolling up to 8.3. That's 17 frames that are missing from Mustafa'S facial expression. And they want to talk about Mustafa'S facial expression? There is no way. By the way, this dash camera does not fall on 2 different frames. This dash camera, the lens that's facing outward and the lens that's facing inward, is connected to the same computer inside.
The same hardware.
The same hardware. So if we were to go by the narrative of the police department that mysteriously this dash camera just cut off, it would
cut
fall
off on both lenses.
It would fall on both.
If the camera shut off,
exactly,
the whole thing would shut off. But for it to shut off on the inside first and continue rolling on the outside,
that would mean someone manually cut this dash camera. Let's watch what I'm talking about. Mohammed, if you can do me a favor, if you want to go over to exhibits. Now, this is frame by frame. This is a file in evidence.com. It's supposed to be 8.3. But when you play the file, I'm going to play it once, normal. And this shows... Yeah, that's fine. It's going to show that Mustafa is attempting to pass a vehicle in front of him. He takes a lane. Here, realize that this is a U-turn lane. He can't get back into traffic. He hits the brake. His brake failed. There's brake failure. I have another body cam where they inspect Mustafa's vehicle, and there's brake failure. There are skid marks right there from Mustafa's 2 calipers that worked. The front passenger, the back passenger did not work. There's brake failure. The only 2 calipers that worked is the front driver, the back driver. There are skid marks taken by Robert Drum and Chad Mason off Mustafa's skid mark before the vehicle ended up on the other side. Now here, you see Mustafa brake. 5-year-old Empress shifts forward. Okay? The computer inside the vehicle showed that Mustafa's foot was on the brake the whole entire time. I'm going to rewind it just a little bit. You see that 5-year-old Empress shift forward. You see right there? How she shifts forward. Everybody shifts forward. Mustafa is hitting the brake. There's brake failure. The vehicle would not stop. Mustafa managed to get the vehicle from 55, which is speed limit, to 35. There's nowhere to go. I'm going to rewind it just a little bit. He's trying to pass the car in front of him. He takes a lane. Realize right there, this is a U-turn. He tried to get back into traffic. That vehicle right there is blocking him from getting back into traffic. Your brake failed. There's brake failure.
According to the police, by the way.
According to the police. Now, where are you supposed to go? Now, this investigator, Robert Drum, tells us that Mustafa jerked the vehicle into oncoming traffic. Now, Watch Mustafa'S hands. Watch Mustafa'S steering wheel. He ends up in oncoming traffic. He didn't jerk the vehicle into oncoming traffic. The vehicle ends up in oncoming traffic.
I'm going to make a full screen.
Yeah.
Go on.
Mustafa gets here, and I'm going to slow it down. He doesn't jerk the vehicle into oncoming traffic.
You see Empress's seat shift forward prior to the
vehicle is already, once the lane end, you're already in oncoming traffic. He doesn't jerk the vehicle into oncoming traffic. The lane end, and there is nowhere to go. There's a vehicle on your right. You can't get back into traffic. You have brake failure. You can't get this vehicle to stop. You end up in oncoming traffic. Now, at that point, there are skid marks from the two calipers that worked.
From his car.
From his car. He already hit the brake. His foot is on the brake the whole entire time.
And the witness has heard his skid brakes right there.
Now, when you end up in oncoming traffic, when you're in that situation, what did Mustafa do? Now, there's vehicles that are oncoming. Mustafa avoids the first vehicle.
That white van.
If he wanted to crash the vehicle on purpose, he would have crashed into that van. Simple.
Exactly.
If he wanted to kill his family, he would have crushed into...
He would have just turned into that
he would have
vehicle
just,
to the right.
He would have just cut into the right and crushed them into that vehicle that's on his right. But he can't get back into traffic. He hits the brake. He can't stop the vehicle. There are skid marks from the two calipers that worked. He did not jerk the vehicle into oncoming traffic like Robert Drum says. And he's already in oncoming traffic, the lane end. Where are you supposed to go? There is nowhere to go. Now, when you end up in that position, what did Mustafa do? He avoids the first vehicle. He avoids the second vehicle. He avoids every vehicle. And the camera cuts off. Now, let's continue rolling. The camera on the outside continue rolling. The camera inside cuts off at 8.0.
And by the way, you can see that.
By the way.
I'm going to make it bigger.
Yeah.
No one is touching the camera. You see Mustafa's hand. You see his arm. You see Dorothy's both arms. So none of them are touching this camera.
You clearly see Mustafa's hands. You see Dorothy's hands. The airbag did not deploy, so you can't blame it on the airbag. Who cut this dash camera before impact? This dash camera cuts off.
Why is it still recording on the outside and not the inside?
Now, Mohammed, it stops at 8.0, and this investigator wants to talk about Mustafa'S facial expression. They took, when you measure how many frames they took out of Mustafa'S facial expression, they took 17 frames are missing from Mustafa'S facial expression. And even though there are 17 frames are missing, when you watch Mustafa'S reaction, he's in panic. His tongue is sticking out of his cheek. I mean, look at his, can you see, is it zoomed in?
Oh, let me make it bigger.
If you can make it bigger.
I think you have to zoom in.
I have to zoom in. Okay. I think I can zoom in manually. There we go. Am I in?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, this is Mustafa. Okay. We're going to watch it regular speed. Okay. Right here, you see Mustafa's tongue. He sticks out his tongue in his cheek. In panic. His jaw is wide open.
Yeah.
He's panicking. And mysteriously, the dash camera cuts off. Let me see if I can zoom in just a little bit more.
I mean, can you have it both cameras at the same time and just zoom into the right side?
I think so, yeah.
Let's take a break.
All right. After this, we're going to take a break. All right. There we go. Perfect. Okay. All right. So we're going to zoom in on Mustafa'S facial expression. Okay. We're going to play at regular speed. This is Mustafa'S facial expression. Okay.
Can you zoom in the top and the bottom, like, so you can see both?
What do you mean?
Like, oh, does that include the bottom part too?
Yeah, but if you zoom in, almost is gonna.
Yeah,
What do you mean?
like that.
Oh, you want to do it like
Yeah,
this?
I want to see the bottom too. What's
Okay,
happening.
okay. All right. And then we'll zoom in on Mustafa'S facial expression. All right. Like this?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So he's trying to pass the car in front of him. He realizes he's in the U-turn lane. He hits the brake. There's no brake. And he can't get back into traffic. Okay. I'm going to slow it down just a little bit. Right there. He begins to open his mouth. You see right there? Okay. Now, I'm going to zoom in really quick, really close. All right. That's Mustafa'S facial expression, right? Okay. Now, the last 8.3 seconds at 6.6, Mustafa began to open his mouth. His jaw is open. Okay. And then his jaw is open more. Okay. And then
you see
he sticks out his tongue inside his cheek.
You see his body like
Tense
jerk
up.
back.
Yep. Now, is
Play-
that the
play it again?
description? Yeah. Slow?
Yeah. Or go forward.
So at 6.6.
No, yeah, just keep going. Keep going. You see right there? You see his neck muscle?
Yep.
Like all tense up? And Robert Drum says
I mean,
he
his
had no
reaction to an accident, he's panicking. I mean, and where it gets really disturbing, Mohammed, where it gets really disturbing is there are 17 frames missing from the camera facing inward.
Facing
and
Mustafa.
the prosecution wants to talk about Mustafa'S facial expression. You manually cut this dash camera.
I mean, think about it like
I mean,
this.
you don't have to take my word for it.
Listen, what are the odds? The dash camera cut right before his facial expressions. Well, like, what are the odds?
I mean,
Like, it just seems like, it just seems like every single piece of evidence in this case, when it's extremely getting close to the point, it just miraculously disappears. Like that DC officer's body cam. I mean, that's the most crucial point in this whole entire case. Missing.
Mohammed.
Robert Drum's recording, missing. Okay? I mean, this dash camera is the most crucial piece of evidence. The audio, missing. The dash cam, it just cuts off. Why is everything surrounding this accident such a mystery?
I mean, Mohammed.
Such a mystery.
If you go...
For no reason at all, by the way.
If you count the frame, this dash camera cuts off at 8.0 and the outside continue rolling. And you want to tell me they have it? I mean, here, I'm going to go second by second.
Look, if the camera cuts off, it cut off. You know what I mean? If the power went out, the power went out.
I mean...
But to say,
are we on exhibits?
Yeah.
I mean, here's the exhibits.
But to say the power went out on the outside or the inside.
1 second,
like
2 seconds, 3 seconds, 4 seconds, 5 seconds, 6 seconds, 7 seconds. Eight seconds. It stops. The lens facing inward cuts off, but the outside continue rolling 17 more frames. Are you kidding me here? And the prosecution wants to talk about Mustafa'S facial expression. How convenient that you have a police officer that mutes the dash camera, that cuts 17 frames out of the dash camera.
Plugs it into his laptop.
Doesn't
follow protocol when it comes to digital evidence.
Look, man, this is bullshit.
Doesn't follow.
But we're going to get to the bottom of it. Let's take a break. I need to fucking smoke a cigarette. I can't take this shit. Like, every time when I'm homing in on the details, it really pisses the fuck out of me. This is bullshit. I mean, when I sit here and I'm showing you the evidence, you don't have to take my word for it anymore. I mean, we're sitting right here in front of a jail. Right behind me, Mustafa sits in solitary confinement for over 2 years. This is exculpatory evidence. They're sealing off this material. They're terrified now it's being leaked. They're terrified to take him to trial. I mean, what are we doing here? We're sitting here telling them, can we take Mustafa to trial? Can Mustafa have his due process?
Can you examine the evidence? That's all he's asking.
Can you put the evidence on the record?
Can you examine the evidence?
That's
all you're asking.
This is bullshit.
I mean, what are you asking?
Let's take a break.
We're not asking for miracles or.
Let's take a break.
You're not asking for special treatment. You're
When
not
we
asking
come
for
back,
anything special.
When we come back.